All right, everybody. Look at this. Look at this. Just as we predicted, the dads would go home and take care of the Doyers. The Doyers got dogged tonight, as they would say.
Doyer dogs.
The Oscar hit a grand slam and they made it interesting, but the
Did.
Dodgers lose 6-5, and it could all be over for the billion-dollar two players and the Los Angeles Dodgers tomorrow night in San Diego.
Whoo. But I think before we launch deep into that, we got to talk about the game earlier today.
Do we though? Do we have to do that because
Only because we got to talk about Sean Manaea just a little bit.
beat LA?
Yeah,
right. Forever Giant.
Sean Manaea. His aunt passed away this morning, apparently, and
Shit.
so he was pitching on some heavy grief, and it's amazing how athletes can pull it together like that in the face of something really bad happening, go out and give the performance of their career. And that what Manaea did today, man, he pitched into the eighth. It was amazing. 7 full, got into the eighth, guy got on base, they pulled him, but man, he did his job, And somebody I know was saying, oh, he won't get through 5.
Somebody I know watched him go into the bullpen, go out to start, be a long reliever, be a closer. The Giants use that guy like a fucking shitty rag at Chevron, man.
Yep.
They needed to keep that guy doing what he does. He showed it tonight. And honestly, just because what I saw in San Francisco, which apparently is not the Sean Manaea show, he usually the third time around through the order would get hit pretty hard. But tonight he just, maybe it was the death in the family or whatever it took, but dude, he's a big beast of a lefty too. He's like a Tongan guy out there that just, he's intimidating, man. Like, I loved Manaea. I wish that we could have figured out how to use him properly.
Yeah. And I feel like they should have kept him too. I mean, what I saw from him when I went to that game in Anaheim was just pure brilliance. And this is before this year when his velocity went up a couple ticks and seems like his control issues are pretty much gone now. And big loss for the Giants, but hey,
we got Birdsong though. Come on.
Yeah. Happy about that. So anyways, I just wanted to touch on that. And
but let's be honest, what's going on with the Phillies bats? I mean, Manaea pitched a great game, but the Phillies have not really shown up with their bats. The last game they came in late, but I don't know what's going on out there. Trey Turner, you got Harper, these guys, I don't know, are they getting pitched around and then the rest of the lineup's not pulling it? Like, what do you think?
The top of the lineup is setting the tone for the entire 9. I mean, it's like, it's just nothing's going on at the top of the order, and those are your heavy hitters. Like Schwarber knocked one out the other day, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't been that potent Phillies offense, and those top 4 guys in that lineup is like they during the season generated a ton of runs. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, the Mets pitching is not exactly, top shelf. I mean, they got good pitchers, no doubt, but they're not guys that you expect to be blowing away people like Bryce Harper.
Right? Yeah. I mean, who was it? Luis Trevino or whatever. He pitched like 6 plus the other day. And then, like I said, he was pitching great in that one inning. He gave it all up. But yeah, the Mets don't scare me with their pitching. They got the bugle boy out there coming in the late innings, but I could care less about all that stuff. I want the Mets to win now. I think I just because of the story and it, New York, San Diego would be interesting. That huge flight in between. I don't know how do they do it? Do they do 2-3-2 or do they do 2-2-1-1-1? Like they've changed it up so many years.
Yeah, and in the championship series with the 7 game, I don't know. They keep juggling it around. As far as the Mets are concerned, I mean, Edwin Diaz is kind of seemingly the only weak link in the chain. Their bullpen's been pretty sharp. Their starters have been sharp. And Philly, like you said, they just haven't shown up, right? So
So is there any chance that the Phillies just fall apart, the fan base goes crazy, and they trade Trey Turner to the Giants in the offseason? Because I will take Trey at shortstop, baby.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't look at this postseason and judge him by that. That guy is he's one of the best players in the league. Still got the speed, he can hit. He's got good baseball IQ too. He plays the game real smart. So I'd love to have him in SF.
Yeah, of course.
So we'll see. I mean, the Phillies, like the way the Mets are going right now, it's like they're earning it. They're earning their way forward with the way that they've been playing and the way that they're shutting the Phillies down. And the Phillies are much better than this, but they're not showing it. So who knows? I mean, their season's on the line.
So tomorrow they're the same thing, right? They're 2-1. Tomorrow's in New York. So New York could close it out. If they don't, then they go back to Philly for game 5.
Right.
You don't want to go back to Philly for game 5. If it goes game 5, I don't know. The Philly fanatic might come out and put the bugle up his nose or something. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If the Mets, if they really want to not have any worries, they want to close it out tomorrow 100%. Because going back to Philly to play a, one game winner take all, they could be in trouble. The Philly might wake up at home, They split at home, which is not as good as sweeping at home, but they won one there and they can win again there. So the Mets are on their game. They're smart. They're going to try to finish it tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, between Vientos, Lindor, and Alonso, they're scary. They're scary.
Yeah.
Nimmo,
remember the Giants almost got Nimmo in the offseason.
Yeah, and I think I underestimated the Mets a little bit. Like I thought, oh man, like it was looking like they might not even get into the postseason, right? And they had to play that doubleheader. They split, knocked the Snakes off, which was great for us, And then, wow, I just thought they'd be done. I thought the Phillies were just gonna completely obliterate them, and it hasn't happened. So my predictions were way off for that series.
Well, tomorrow, I misspoke yesterday, and tomorrow is today. Tomorrow is all 4 playoff games, not today. I got a little antsy, but tomorrow you got Guardians Tigers at 12 noon Pacific. You got Phillies Mets at 2:08 Pacific. You got Yankees Royals at 4:08 Pacific, and then at the finale, we're going down there to Petco. And I was telling Cheryl this today. I've never looked forward to a baseball game that didn't involve the Giants more than the one today. And now tomorrow is even more than that.
Right.
Like these games, I'm all in, dude. I'm fucking ready for these games because hey, Yama this, man. Shohei that,
And that game tonight just had a little bit of everything that was, it was the emotional roller coaster for sure,
Dude, it started out almost identical. Profar with the are you kidding me? That was insane.
Did you see the replay still? It was in his glove. He actually got the tip of his glove around it.
And I want to pause that frame real quick because I think Chris Gentry's somewhere in the background.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I did not notice, but yeah, that was crazy. And had Mike Shildt been kind of conscious in the moment, he could have asked the umpires about Mookie running out of the baseline, right?
Oh,
because you hit a home run, you still got to run the bases and do it kind of by regulation.
And he thought he caught it. He was like running off the field, right?
He was halfway across the center grass of the diamond. Anybody in the Padres dugout could have said, hey, he went out of the base path. Like, this is ridiculous. This guy's running off the field. He forfeited the home run. I'm just saying that because fuck the Dodgers. But like, seriously, I was sitting there going, wait, how come nobody's like challenging this? Call up Rob Manfred. What's the deal? Is there a rule for this? Section C 78.6. Right. Mookie Betts gets robbed again by a rule technicality.
And what Shohei struck out twice. What is he? 1 for 4.
Yep.
I mean, those top, was it the top 3? Is it Otani, Betts, and Freeman? They're not showing up. Betts hasn't shown up for a few years. He's the new Kershaw. I was talking to Lee DuPont, who alias is Freckleface, who we've talked about all the time because he's the huge Padre fan with a huge mouth. He loves to wah, 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 but he doesn't want to come on and talk with us for some reason. He might if all the chips are in his favor eventually, but who knows? Anyway, I was talking to him like through texting and stuff, and I was like, they can't blame this on Kershaw. Whose jersey are they going to burn? He's like, Mookie Betts for sure, dude.
Yeah. Betts he's kind of run afoul of Dodger fans in the postseason quite a bit since he came over. And, it's $365 million for 10 years is no laughing matter, right?
I got to be honest, though. If I'm picking anyone on the Dodgers, it's Mookie. He's my guy. Those other dudes can suck it, but like Mookie has got my respect. He's kind of Barry Bonds right now, right? Like Barry, every time he got in the postseason up into a point, they said, oh, he's got the monkey on his back. He can't do it. And Mookie, for whatever reason, he's had a hard time, but he got 2 home runs, but only one of them counted. And almost both of them didn't count thanks to Profar. Yeah. But I mean, he's a great player. He's a 5-tool guy. He's pretty classy too. He doesn't have like the Max Muncy. Come on, man. He's got to be the worst. Yeah. Now,
sometimes guys that get you to the postseason aren't necessarily going to perform at that level in the postseason, but they got you there. So it counts for something. Mookie, I still stand by my prediction that 6+ years into his contract, he's going to start to break down and he's not going to be the guy that they sign. But that doesn't matter because the way he's played up to this point for the Dodgers, he's dangerous, man. He's scary. I would love to see that guy play for the Giants and sign that deal with the Giants. So,
well, what year is he on right now? He's been there for a while.
This should be year 6 now. So
I would have took that deal in a heartbeat.
It's year 5 or year 6 of his deal right now. So
he's definitely not the problem. No matter what happens with the Dodgers, their pitching fell apart. Walker Buehler, I mean, he pitched a lot better tonight than I thought he would, but like that second inning was atrocious. I was like laughing out loud watching. I was like, nothing could go right for them, for the Dodgers, and I was just such a kid in a candy store loving it.
Yeah, he turned into a rotisserie chicken for an inning there, and then the Padres coming out and just for whatever reason, Michael King just lost it in that one inning. Like it was almost like looking at a mirror image of what happened just before that, right?
He gave the slider, he hung it, man. It was right there. Teoscar just pounded it.
Yeah, and let's talk about that guy for a second. So I seem to recall a point in time before this year started when you and I were hot and heavy on signing Teoscar Hernandez as an outfielder for the Giants. And we were
100%
big on it. And Farhan went and grabbed Soler. And Soler turned out to be a dud. And Teoscar Hernandez had a career year in LA.
Yeah. And I mean, on the other channel, they're always talking about Teoscar and Santander as these guys that are just like in their mind, I think they're sea level, like it's Soto or bust. And I'm like, I don't know, man. These guys are both pretty talented outfielders. And I think Santander's young. I think Teo's pretty young too. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think you're going to get another season out of Teoscar Hernandez like you got this year. The Dodgers got out of him this year. So he wouldn't be my pick over Santander. I might go with Santander.
Interesting.
I don't think he's reached his ceiling yet. And Hernandez, this may be the best season he's ever going to put up in his career.
Okay.
That's just kind of my take on it. And the Dodgers likely will try to take a flyer on him for another year extension, possibly, maybe 2, because what else do they have?
Yeah, that's true. We'll see. I mean, if they go, who knows? I like Lisa Cram showing up though. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've loved Mookie since Boston, an incredible player and so fun to watch. Yeah, and he's got a podcast too. So he's what do they call him? We're in the same biz over here with Mookie, huh? A little bullet chowder. I went to Boston earlier this year and I loved it. I'm going back. That's a class act stadium, awesome town. You can walk everywhere, good food and good people. I recommend Boston to anyone, especially baseball fan. If you haven't been to Fenway, get there while it's still alive and kicking.
Yeah, you can park the car in Harvard Yard.
Yeah, in the Harvard.
Oh man, so we were bantering back and forth during that game, and you and I were both of the same opinion. If Padres didn't score another run, they were gonna lose it. But man,
Thought so. But their bullpen is lights out. Suarez, Adams, who was the first guy that came in was beast. Oh, Estrada.
yeah.
Woo! They got some throwers, man. 101, 199. They're just and then
Tanner, the kid Tanner too is really good. I mean, they're insane. So to hold the Dodgers off and not let them score another, yeah, exactly. That's incredible. And let's see, you got two guys on the Dodgers roster who account for $1.065 billion in contract money, and there's something like 4 for 20 now, or 4 for 22 in the series now.
So I'm looking at this too, because I'm you know me, I'm already like halfway through the off season thinking about who the Giants are going to get, who the Dodgers are going to get, what's the Diamondbacks moves going to be. Like my brain is like already to like the winter meetings and still trying to enjoy this. It's crazy. But I'm hearing all these rumors the Dodgers are going to get that big phenom pitching star from Japan. And I'm thinking, is this going to be a sequel? Like, didn't they just do that with Yamamoto and sign him for 10 years? And it's the worst contract so far I've ever seen. You talk about Mookie 10 years being a bust. This thing for $600 million, and the guy can't even finish a year or finish 3 innings in the first game of the playoffs. See you later, Yamamoto. I'd take Senga every day over that guy for like what, 4 years, way less money.
Yep.
I don't know. Keep getting all of those guys that have never played in the MLB. We'll get our Corbin Burns and Snells and Fried, and we'll see you in the postseason soon.
Yeah. Who's going tomorrow for the Dodgers? Is it Yamamoto?
No, it's that guy Knack or something like that. They say
Landon Knack.
It's a bullpen game.
Fantastic. Once again, Dave Roberts pushing every button but the one that really matters.
And Jackson Merrill, what poise does that kid have? 21 years old. He looks like a veteran. It's pretty amazing. Like, I got to be honest, we're watching these games and I'm looking at the Padres going, man, I wouldn't mind half of the team, if not more. Like, there's a lot of dudes on there that they got a good team, dude. They're stacked.
Yep. Yeah, Cronenworth's been a little bit of a bummer offensively, but you can't trade out his defense, right? I mean, the Crone zone. Don't hit the ball in the Crone zone, guys.
I'm saying Crone no worth. That guy, he's a schmuck. He's lost it. This whole year he's been kind of just like, meh. He seems like the rally killer out of the whole lineup for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tough, but I mean, you look at how stacked that lineup is. They probably are just keeping him for defense, right?
Well, they got even Peralta contributing. It's like and hopefully tomorrow Donnie Barrels gets the game-winning run, and we go forever Giants out of there.
Yeah. He needs to show up a little bit, but overall, like Arias hasn't been super hot in the series either, but he hasn't had to be because they got Fernando Tatis, and as far as I'm concerned, you got Fernando Tatis, you got a good shot at winning it all every single year.
What a beast.
He's got 5 home runs in the series already?
Beast mode, dude.
Great,
he's just like, he's locked in. You see that play he made 2 nights ago in LA where he's running in the outfield and he just jumps super high like that was not an easy play. That guy, he won the Platinum Glove a year or 2 ago out there. That's not his position. He's a shortstop. This guy's a great athlete. I don't know what kind of juice he was using for the suspension and all that, but I got Tatis's back. I love
Yeah.
Tatis.
Well, that play that he made that you're referring to was the same play that Acuna blew his knee into a million pieces a couple of years ago. You remember when he blew his ACL out? It was that
Yep.
exact same like sprinting, jumping catch in the outfield, and he came down, his leg just folded up. But Tatis, he handled it. So
I also wanted to talk about the Dodgers grooming situation. There was a play. Okay, this is like a 3-piece McNugget all wrapped into one unhappy meal. We got this guy out there at shortstop, Rojas, that looks like Guy Fieri from Sacramento, the bleach blonde spiked hair. I'm like, who is this guy and who lets him? Anyway, he gets hurt. So their trainer comes running out, and the trainer's got a mohawk with a man bun. I'm like, wait a minute, are they having like the Three Stooges who can have the worst hairdo? And then the next guy is that Kopech guy, and he's got a man bun. And I'm like, blue pants, man buns, Guy Fieri, get him out of here.
yeah, they're into the glad bag, trash bag hair down there. I don't know what's going on,
They're in trouble, dude. I don't know who owns them, but they are going to be saying, you think the Giants spent money and didn't get anything? The Dodgers spent $1 billion on 2 players.
Yep.
It ain't over till it's over, kids. But I see a fat lady warming her vocals up, and the mic is getting ready to get turned on. It's about done.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I could be totally wrong about this, but I think the game tonight was probably more of a soul killer than the 10-2 loss. If you think about it, the fact that you couldn't put anything together after the 3rd inning against San Diego, and they held on to a 1-run lead through 6 innings of ball and took it, like, you got to feel like, yeah, we're probably screwed.
Yeah, I mean, they did hit that grand slam, and it just stopped the Padres' momentum. I was really disappointed that it had to happen right at that time. The whole crowd was into it. The Padres were like, we got this, metal to the pedal and pedal to the metal, and all of a sudden grand slam, and you're like, 6-5. And I really think that was a huge momentum stopper. But yeah, you're right. Then the bullpen comes in, and I mean, when Ohtani strikes out, it's the best.
It is.
I love it. And he looks there like he wishes he could express himself properly, because he doesn't want to say the wrong words. But like, it's like, dude, he's like, and then they show the ball's right there in the box, bro. Sorry, that's a strike.
It'd be great if they ran an interpreter out there and just ran up to the plate behind him and went, fuck, and then they ran back. The interpreter takes the helmet off of his head and throws it down the turret.
Hey, meanwhile, Ippei's in jail somewhere doing time for him. It's just like, man. Oh, so I came up with one today. Besides the show's over, which I got to take credit for, I was thinking that Shohei is going to tell the Dodgers tonight that he's deferring the World Series wins for 10 years.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So did you read all this shit today about the Dave Roberts and the Dodgers sending videotape to the Major League to review Manny Machado throwing the ball at the dugout? I mean,
it was like a toss, like at the end of when you're tossing the ball around and you toss it into the dugout and the ball guy gets it. That was what it looked like to me.
Yeah. So there was something on Instagram or some Dodgers account that had posted a thing and saying, yeah, they should review this, and see if they should suspend Machado. And then I just went in there and I commented and I said, like, Yeah, well, why don't you have them review the casino tapes of Ohtani before you get to that? There's a backlog on this, like whatever. It just they're so soft when it comes to stuff like that. It's like you sore losers, you lost the game because you sucked. You didn't lose the game because things got testy.
And I think Dave Roberts is just like trying to be a stand-up guy and back his players. But man, he's got to just feel like an idiot when he knows that ball was not coming at it was coming at him like 15 miles an hour, like it was whatever.
I
Dude.
I think they're actually trying to deflect from just
How
how
bad the
how
fans
awful the
are.
fans are and their behavior during that game. And so anything to try to take attention away from that, because if you look at social media, since that happened, I mean, the overwhelming majority of people are just saying like, wow, what a bunch of classless jerks they are. And then you got all the Dodger fan apologists who want to blame, blame, victim shame with Profar and say, well, he started it. It's like, what are you in third fucking grade? Okay. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's like you're a spectator of a professional sports event. Under no circumstances are you supposed to be throwing shit at players on the field.
Did you
Okay.
see that viral video where the guy goes down and then he comes back as like he threw a bottle at the left field at Profar, and then
Right.
he turns around and he's like, oh yeah, Lisa, the John Boy breakdown was amazing. Yeah, I think Christian actually sent me the link to that too. Like that's kind of the whole thing where they're just like, dude, come on, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay.
Anyway,
They're not going to have any more games there this year anyway, right?
well, that's the hope. That's the goal. And I think right now the Padres they went into the clubhouse after this game and they probably all sat down and just said, we got this. We got this. This is like, we're going to go out there tomorrow. We're going to play as hard as we possibly can and send these fuckers home. Right? Like, that's it.
Who are Padres going to pitch tomorrow? Cease
is going. So
game over.
Yeah.
Cease and defer.
Yep. And I think actually in game one he wasn't exactly at his level that he normally pitches at.
He was amped up, man.
Yeah.
Game one.
I think it was a big deal. And then I think I still stand by my opinion. I think Schultz should have let him face Ohtani a second time. I thought that was a real like quick hair trigger that probably didn't need to happen. I mean, Darvish came out and did his thing, so it wasn't the bullpen's not gassed, right? And the way that he's used his bullpen in these games where he's really like carved it up. I mean, I didn't like the idea of bringing the closer in for a 4-out save, but what are you going to do? The dude's throwing 100, 101. It's good enough.
Yeah, Johnny, I don't know what we do about this. I was thinking about the same thing tonight, that it sucks that we're on the same time as Eric. I was almost going to, I don't know, it feels weird, but I was going to talk to those guys and see if maybe we could do a 1-2 punch where like either we come on first or they come on first. And then, so it's kind of like, but I don't know. It's so much excitement that we just want to get on right after the game.
Yeah, those guys are probably cranking it up right now. So I don't know. This saves my thumbs though, because when I'm watching them, I'm constantly wanting to get in there, like commenting a ton on what they're saying. So
yeah. It's funner for me to actually just be able to say it instead of type it. Because look at, I got trigger finger from you.
Did you go watch that video I sent you to get that fixed?
Yeah, is that the one where they like do this and there's like 5 exercises?
Bend your thumb down and
then
bring
you
it back
do the
up
reaches.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been playing with that, but man, it's been at least a week or more that this thing's been giving me trouble, and it just sucks because my whole job's on a mouse and I'm trying to use it left-handed, and that just makes my shoulders stressed and like, it's and I ordered, what's that? Is that an ergonomic mouse?
No, it's my super old Logitech 3-button with a wheel. I've used these religiously for
is that what
20 years.
Logitech, baby.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a fatter shorter one. That's the same basic deal. Their stuff is bulletproof. So maybe we should get them as a sponsor. Brought to you by Logitech, the mice that will give you carpal tunnel.
That's a good point, though. Johnny just makes. What do you think about that base running of Machado? That, like, that started it all off. Really, the ball hitting him. Is he intentionally doing that? I kind of think so, because
absolutely, and because of the new rules now, you have to figure out ways of cutting down guys getting doubled off without collision, without oversliding the bag, without pulling a Chase Utley and breaking somebody's leg. You just can't get away with it anymore, right? I was watching a game. It was like, I think one of the last games of the year where the announcers were talking about a guy sliding into second and not making himself big. In other words, trying to go in real low when he knows the guy's trying to turn and make the double play, when you should be going in with your arms up. You should be going in as big as possible to try to get in the way of the throw, because that's the only way you can really, quote, break up a double play anymore, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't reach out and swat the ball out of the air, but anything that you can do to kind of make yourself in the way is smart. And as long as you stay in the base path, you're not breaking the rules. So, yeah, I mean, Machado's an experienced dude. He's been around a long time. He knows how it goes.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I was watching Chapman all year thinking like, oh, this guy, and man, Manny's a pretty epic third baseman too. And with his running and his bat to ball stuff, it's like Chapman had a great year this year. Let's see what he does the rest of his career. But Manny's just, year after year, he's been pretty proven.
Right.
Man, his arm, the whole deal, right? Like, you got to give it up for old Manny. He does have a target on his back too. He's pretty hated if he's not on your team. He's that guy that gets booed out of the building every time. But I don't know. Look, Tatis is one of my favorite non-Giants. The guy's just insane. And then that play where Merrill slid into second, it was a double play that they didn't get either out. Merrill beat the throw to second, and then the guy ran out to first.
Yeah.
I think that was the same inning, right? There was just, everything was going their way.
Yeah. It was, they couldn't do any wrong. And I mean, they did most of that with no outs either. It was like it's just the merry-go-round was spinning. And I don't know. Yeah, we're like rejoicing, like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And then the top half of the next inning, it's like, wait, what? This is not happening. This is not happening.
But I will say that as I'm watching it, I realized tonight, I'll take Tio winning the game all day over Muncy, Freeman, Ohtani. Tio and Mookie are the two guys that, like, I'll be like, all right, whatever. The other guys, I'm like way more angry. Like, I just don't want to see those guys succeed at all.
Absolutely. You could tip your cap to Mookie, maybe to Teoscar. The rest of them can suck it. And I have no idea what the hell Freeman's even doing out there. The guy can't run. He's jacked. Like, dude, like, at some point somebody has to go, you're hurting us, dude, because you can't play at high level. What are you doing? You making a chin cleft for yourself right there?
I can't. No, I'm trying to be Freeman.
Dude, he's got the surgically
I can't do it even.
Dimple, right?
That guy's a doofus. I hate that guy. I didn't like him as a Brave, but then he come over to the Dodgers, and then they went back to Atlanta, and he's just crying like a baby.
Not nonsense.
Like, come on, bro. Like,
it wasn't even real. It's just a show for the fans because they all fucking got pissed at him that he left.
Yep.
He followed the money to LA, and he wanted to rub elbows with a bunch of Hollywood hypocrite narcissists or whatever it is that he does. And He couldn't take the hate going back to ATL. That's really what it's all about, I think, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, you're a grown ass man. You're crying over that, you know. I don't buy it. So
something else that's getting overlooked, I think, by a lot of people is Arias, who is out of position, and he is playing a mean first base. He's made some really good defensive plays over there, and that's not his natural position, but you need to get that guy in the game because he's such a great hitter. The defense has been really good. Like that play, who was the center fielder for the Dodgers that made the sliding catch early on that was in the gap? That was a nice one. And it's just been fun baseball to watch, really. Like, I mean, it's obviously funner because our team, the team we want to lose is losing. So that makes it funner. But I mean, the games have just been really exciting and well played for most of the 9 innings.
Yeah, and I expected this series to be the hottest of the bunch. You know, the Dodgers Padres, the NL West rivalry, and in recent years, the San Diego Dodgers, the rivalry has gotten hot. It's got spice.
And right now it's boiling. There's shit's coming out of the pot.
Yep. And I love that. I love the feistiness, the testiness, you know. It's spicier than an Alvera street taco, dude. Like they just seriously, they're just like these guys really don't like each other, right? And you got a little bit of crossover. Manny played for the Dodgers for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So you got some like you know there's
and was Dave Roberts on the Padres for a year, maybe?
He may have been.
I think he was for like 1 year because he was on the Giants for a year.
He was on the Giants as well. Yeah. He was the Giants brought him in pretty much as a pinch runner, I think was Dave Roberts' only real purpose in San Francisco. I mean, he hit a little bit, but he could still run the bases like a rabbit. You know, I mean, it's that it'll live in baseball history forever. The base that he stole, you know, for the Red Sox, that like everybody in the place knows he's going and they still can't throw him out because he's that fast.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, all respect for that. He's a shit manager. I'm sorry to say it. Nice guy, shit manager.
Yeah, he's better than Mattingly though.
Well, yeah, but
he didn't leave the mound twice in one visit.
Yeah, listen, neither one of those guys knew how to manage their starting rotation, their pitchers. They would ride their starters way too long because they had a crappy bullpen year in and year out perennially. I mean, you can go right down the list. Just Pedro Baez, you know. I mean, every time the Giants played the Dodgers and you saw Pedro Baez warming up in the bullpen for the Dodgers, you were like, yes, please put him in. Please put him in. We're going to wreck him, right? Like, and it's just, that's the way the Dodgers bullpen has been for like a solid decade. So like they burned up Kershaw's arm. They burned up Ferris Bueller's arm. They burned up Dustin May's arm. I mean, it's like, they want to ride these guys. And Kershaw, I mean, in defense of Dave Roberts and Mattingly a little bit, is that Kershaw is such a gamer, you know. He never wanted to come out of any game ever. You know, I'll throw 140 pitches tonight. I don't care. I'm not coming out of this game, you know. But I mean, really, just those guys, neither one of them could manage pitching very well. And they were gifted with all these great offense players. But it doesn't make you a good manager. And sorry, you're going to win 11 division titles in 12 years, and you got one Little League World Series trophy to show for it. You ain't that good of a manager, man.
Speaking of managers, I was thinking about this tonight. We're having this discussion. What's Bob Melvin thinking right now? And what are your thoughts on that? Like, Bob was obviously the manager of the Padres last year, and they didn't do well. 1 year later, they're on fire, and there's a lot of elements that go into it, right? Like Soto's not there. That's a big one. They made a trade, Soto to the Yankees, that they got King and some of these guys that are really helping them. And then obviously they got Arias and 3 or 4 real key members of the bullpen. So it's not the same exact team by any means. And I don't know. I think I was telling them, I was like, you know what? I think Bob is living his dream. He grew up in the Bay Area. He wanted to be with the Giants, and he is with the Giants. Last year was his first year, and from what I'm hearing, Farhan was actually writing a lot of the lineups and like overriding him in some of those areas. And so that's one thing that Buster's hopefully, I can't see Buster doing that at all. I can't see him hiring a general manager that's going to say, your lineup doesn't work, Bob. Like the manager's there to manage, and so let's see what he does next year. And yeah, maybe San Diego beaches are nicer and the fish tacos and all that, but I think you grew up in the Bay Area and you're stoked to wear the black and orange because that's what we bleed for, till we die.
Yeah, yeah, and he's reunited with Chapman, which is cool.
Right. Yep.
I think that he works well with Matt Williams. I think there's a lot of pluses, and I can't really draw any real connection to the Padres' success this year and Melvin's departure from the team. There's a lot of roster turnover. I think last year was sort of a proving ground year for that Padres team. And then look, they shook it up, man. They spent all this money, and then Soto, boom, gone, right?
Yeah.
And they go out and they make some other acquisitions, and they move some guys out. So I mean, really, it is a lot different team, and I think it's a much better functioning unit than it was last year. It seemed like maybe one too many egos last year, maybe too many bright spotlights, and shipping one guy out seemed to change all that, and then they improved, right? So they're a pretty menacing team, right? And I think like they're going to be tough on the Giants next year. They're going to be tough to compete with, and the Dodgers are always tough. And Arizona, maybe not so much next year. Maybe they've had their little streak, but it's going to be tough. And I'm confident in Bob Melvin. I'm stoked that he's getting another year, that they're not shipping him out with Farhan on the trash barge to nowhere. And like you said, with the lineups and all that, the more that's kind of trickling out about what was going on while he was there in SF, like, no wonder things were kind of sour, right?
People are really upset in the organization on how Tyro was handled. I just keep hearing that over and over.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's lots of things we're not hearing, we don't get the privilege of all that stuff, but I can only imagine what else happened. The one thing I wanted to discuss before we go is I was cruising the internet last night, or the YouTube channel. I went down the rabbit hole. I went Glenn and Eric for a little bit, and then they ended, and I ended up at this Dan guy that I think is part of their organization or whatever. And he had the guy that I like the least behind a mic. His name is Dieter Kurtenbach, and he's a writer for the San Jose Mercury. You know this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Is his whole shtick just to be the naysayer, or is this like who he is? Because everything is like, oh, the Buster Posey thing's really bad, blah, blah, blah. Everything is just like, it's fucking raining shit all over the place. And I just am like, dude, what the hell? Who is this guy? And he kind of like, I don't know what credibility he has or whatever, but he does get opportunity on KMBR and whatnot.
He's one of those. KMBR brings in these people that, it's like, well, I'm just an expert in every sport. I can talk about Sharks hockey. I could talk about 49ers football. I could talk about Giants baseball. I could talk about Warriors basketball. I could talk WNBA and women's North American women's soccer. And I could talk about the UEFA Champions League. Like, you get these clowns. It's like, I want to hear from people who are really astute in the sport that they talk about on the radio, which is why I don't listen to KMBR really anymore. I've seen the guy on a live stream, and he's a weird looking dude. I don't know what's up with that guy, but yeah, he definitely is. I don't know if that's his shtick. Like, I'm going to come on, I'm going to talk a bunch of shit. Like, because maybe, you throw enough mud at the wall, something eventually sticks. So maybe he's thinking like, I got all these hot takes and I'm going to assault everybody. But then that one time I'm right, then I can go, see, I told you so, you know?
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy. I don't understand, like the KMBR, they're the flagship station for the Giants. And I'm not begging for homers by any means, you know, like if shit's going raw, we want it to be like that. But to just constantly be the negative Nancy and just be like, oh, Buster doesn't have any experience, it's not gonna work, and everyone's happy, but it's gonna be the worst thing ever. And yeah. These are the people that I like to do the little screen grab, little video bites, and just put them in my folder, wait till the end of the year, and then just start posting. Like, remember all the shit you talked about that's crap? Like, you know, it's like, look at us now, we're killing it. And then like he's from Missouri or somewhere and he's been here for 6 years. It's like, don't come in and talk about something that this fan base is so passionate about when you don't understand anything prior than 6 years. Like, you know, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I want, you know, if I want people that are going to be talking about the Giants on KMBR, the flagship station, I want people who are born and bred in the Bay Area. And when I say born and bred in the Bay Area, I'm not talking about Marin County either. I'm talking about San Francisco, the peninsula, okay? Like, you come up there, that's your pedigree. You've been going to games since the stick was around. You remember guys like Dave Kingman. Okay,
Whoa.
yeah, you could talk to me about the Giants. But otherwise, shut up. I don't want to hear it. It's like Murph, you know, going on these insane 7,000 word McCovey Chronicles articles that just, it's, dude, I'm bored by the end of the first run-on paragraph. I can't handle it. Oh,
Johnny.
sorry, Johnny.
Hey, yeah, but do you coach a 5-year-old softball team and talk about the Grateful Dead all day on a sports radio station? I don't think you do. Yeah, Murph he can drive me crazy, but Dieter is like a whole nother level. Because when Murph went on vacation, Dieter subbed for him, and I was like, did they do this on purpose to make Murph look better? Because this guy's actually worse than Murph. I just don't understand what the hell people are thinking when they hire people. I'm like, it's kind of like the Giants, you know, you go over to their stadium and you see Nothing Like It Part 3. It's like the sequels were never good and the trilogies were absolutely never good. Yeah. Let's get a new slogan. We got a new player, our president of operations, baseball operations. I just don't want to look at Nothing Like It again. You know, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, and that font is kind of sad too. I mean, yeah, you come up with a good enough slogan, you can use Comic Sans for all I care. But you know, it's yeah, something's got to change with that. So,
but did you see this comment that Johnny said? He said Dan and Eric used to do a show together before Eric and Glenn, and I guess Dan and Eric had a falling out.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. That Dan guy seems like a real mellow guy. He's like a little older, and Dieter was the one that was rubbing me wrong. But I guess I got to do some research on my Eric, Glenn, and Dan and all the drama over there. Yeah. I just love Glenn because he lives in my building half the year. He's like four floors up, and he's an ex-hockey player, and he's just a wild man. He's like yelling about drinking with the Patrick Waz of hockey and all this stuff. It's like he is a wild guy. He's pretty funny.
I like both those guys. They're a lot of fun, and I get a kick out of their crazy maniacal Soto desires. So well, shit, great game tonight. I just want to touch briefly on the whole miniature Will Clark controversy that reared up tonight on social media.
I saw that.
So the ever opinionated but absolutely right 99.9% of the time Will Clark ruffling some feathers apparently by saying that a lot of the stat nerds with the SF Giants should probably get the shit can along with Farhan. And KNBR running to their defense on social media, which begs the question, who at KNBR is so bent out of shape about what Will Clark has to say? We need to dig deeper into that and figure it out, I think. Uh-oh, Schmitty froze up. Internet went out. Schmitty, your camera broke. All right. Well, if I'm alive by myself, I don't know what I got. But Will Clark. What's going on here?
Oh boy, are you there? Looks like the Wi-Fi cut out or something. Sorry. But yeah, I saw that thing with Will Clark too. Sorry about that. We got some internet problems.
Oh, that was crazy. It was like I was like looking at all of a sudden, how come Schmitty's not moving? Did he go into a trance?
All the sound, the wheel, the lovely wheel.
Yeah.
Hey,
nuts.
what's your names, by the way? So I don't have to keep calling you skaters. Well, I'm Schmitty and that's Christian. So there you go.
Yeah.
We usually start the show off by saying, welcome back to Skaters on Baseball. I'm Schmitty alongside my friend Christian Cooper. And today is the place to MLB because we're the podcast with balls, baby.
That's right.
Love it. Hey,
That's
tomorrow night, let's get a little crowd in here and let's bring some yellow rally tags. Let's beat LA. Let's get festive up in this piece because I got a feeling we're going to be cracking champagne and pouring it over our heads. Spread the word. And if you haven't seen it, by the way, Mark the Shark interview just went up on our YouTube we did this interview like a couple weeks before the 100 splash hit where he got the ball. And I said it last night. This is one of my favorite interviews we've ever done for this channel. And how cool was it that we picked this guy, we interviewed him, we predicted he would get the 100th ball, and then he did get the 100th ball. Yeah. So if you got some time, go check that out. He's a great dude, and he's funny, animated. We'll probably get him back on the show sooner than later. But you got cut off. Want to finish it with the Will Clark a little bit?
Oh, just saying we need to dig a little deeper into that and figure out exactly, if we can, who at KNBR got so offended by what he said. I'm a huge fan of Burnsy and Will and the Deuces Wild thing. Those guys are incredible. I mean,
oh man, the Will Clark soundbite the other night where he was like, did you see that one? Yeah, it's so good.
I love it when they do the Deuces Wild thing because both of them are drinking, and it's like they just let a little bit looser with their personalities, which are already just completely crazy. So I love those guys, and I've always been a Will Clark fan from the first game that he played in SF. Knocking on some wood.
Knock on wood. Don't need to knock on wood because it's over, baby. Don't worry. We got this. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen that, go over there for sure. Burns and Will Clark is just, it's such a different atmosphere than almost anything else. They're ready to just go balls to the wall, and it's pretty cool. I love when they're doing the announcing during the game and stuff. If you've turned your volume off, you can watch the game, and they're just commenting along with it. It's really cool too.
Yep. And they played the game at a very high level in the major leagues. So, anything coming out of people like that, got to listen, man. Got to listen.
Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in. And like I said, the more the merrier. If you can spread the word and let people know we're doing this, we're going every night after the last game. So tomorrow, hopefully, is the finale for the Padres Dodgers. We'll be tuning in probably 5 or 10 minutes after the last out. So check us out over here and subscribe, hit the like button, and do all the things that help spread the word so that we can keep this going and have fun with it. It's been a blast doing these things, and
Absolutely.
we're just enjoying it. And so it's good to see you guys over here.
Yep. And let's hope there's some brown and gold confetti falling from the rafters tomorrow night.
And remember what they're saying in Petco: beat LA, beat LA, beat LA, beat LA.
Yes. There it is.
Peace
All
out.
right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
You.